Welcome back to This is Baseball. My name is Brandon Johnson. Happy Tuesday. Happy Jackie Robinson Day. One of the best days in this sport. Everybody's going to be wearing the number 42 on the back of their jersey in honor of Jackie Robinson. So it has been a couple weeks since I talked Kansas City Royals on this show. If you know anything about me, I'm from KC. The Royals are the team in my backyard, so spend a ton of time on them. I took some time off to just kind of cover some of the worst starts and best starts in Major League Baseball last week, so if you want to check those episodes out, they're there for you. But let's just spend a few minutes looking at the Royals through 16 games. So they are 8-8 at the time of this recording, which is honestly about where I expected them to be. I figured they would hover right around 500 at this point in the season. They haven't had the easiest of schedules to get this season going, but they're a team that I think is capable of hanging in there, and I think that's exactly what they've done so far. And there's a few things that stick out to me this season so far. Number one is the pitching has been really good again, and they've picked up where they left off in 2024, where the starting staff has been pretty much lights out. And the difference in 2025 versus 2024 is the bullpen has been significantly better. I remember last year during the season, we were talking about, man, if only this bullpen was better, this Royals team would be winning a lot more games. Well, so far through these 16 games, the bullpen has been amazing. Carlo Estevez has been a fantastic addition. He's already had 5 saves. Daniel Lynch is on a ridiculous scoreless inning streak. I think he's up to like 28 or something right now. Lucas Erceg hasn't given up any runs. Hunter Harvey, same thing. Hunter Harvey's on the IL right now, but John Schreiber, there's just a lot to be excited about in this bullpen in 2025 versus 2024. And then you have Cole Reagans, who Cy Young candidate last year. Seth Lugo, been the same. Michael Lorenzen back on the team. He's been serviceable. Same with Michael Wacha. All of these pitchers, and I'll get to Chris Bubic in a second, all of these pitchers have done a great job at delivering quality starts or close to it, and have done everything that they can to give the Royals offense a chance to win the game. But yes, Chris Bubic, he's a player that the Royals have been trying to make him a starter. They see him as a starter, and he got the final spot in the rotation this year, and through 3 games started, he's been fantastic. He has a .96 ERA right now. He's 2-1. He's 21 strikeouts and 5 walks. He's been amazing, and I know it's early, but I love to see the resurgence, and it looks like, at least in the early parts of the season, he's going to be a pivotal piece of this rotation. Now, on the flip side of things, this is where it's a little bit interesting, is the Royals' offense has gotten off to an incredibly slow start. I'm looking at a player like Jonathan India, who, in my opinion, I don't know if it's too early to say that the Royals have won the Jonathan India trade, but so far he has been as advertised, if not better. I know the batting average is not there, but he's getting on base. He's been a great leadoff batter and kind of getting the ball rolling. I think looking at some other pieces on this team, Salvador Perez has gotten off to a slow start. I wonder. I'm not that concerned about his slow start. The only thing that I would wonder is, this is his age 35 season, so is this where, he drops off an edge, or once the season gets going, does he get the ball rolling a little bit more? I think that is the case. He does lead the team in RBIs, so he is driving in runs. He's just striking out a lot. But Bobby Witt Jr., he's doing Bobby Witt Jr. things. I think he's leading the league in doubles. The power will come. One interesting player that's seemed to make a little bit of a turnaround is Maikel Garcia. He's a little bit more of a utility player this season, but his bat seems to be significantly better this season than it is last season. Vinny Pasquantino, he hasn't gotten it going either. I think he's hitting 218 right now. He's got an on-base percentage under 300. I wonder if the hamstring thing has been a little bit more of an issue than we thought, and that's the reason for his slow start. But the big issue with this Royals team is they're just not scoring runs right now. The pitching has carried the Royals to an 8-8 start. Royals played the Twins last week. They took 3 out of 4 against them, and they only scored 9 runs. And played Cleveland over the weekend, only scored 5 runs, lost that series. So the offense just isn't getting runs home, and I think that will come. I'm looking at, I'm not expecting MJ Melendez or Hunter Renfroe to carry this team. MJ's got a batting average of 0.77, Hunter Renfroe 128. I'm not going to sit here and be mad at them because I don't think either of those two players are going to be on the Major League roster 60 days from now. I think MJ, unfortunately, I've said it before the season. I said it last season. I don't think he's a Major League player, and he's proving that again. Hunter Renfroe is going to get DFA'd in all likelihood. The one interesting thing is Jack Caglione, Royals' top prospect, is mashing in Double-A. I'm assuming he's going to get called up to Triple-A at some point, and if he does what he is doing in Double-A and Triple-A, I think he'll be on the Major League roster and be a huge help to this team in the final third of the season. But I'm not worried about Salvi or Vinny. I think they'll get warmed up. I think the offense will get going. Their track history tells us that they'll turn things around. Vinny had 97 RBIs going into September last season before he got hurt. So I think he's going to be a productive member of the team. But this team is fun in 2025 because going into this season versus last season, you have a team that went to the postseason. They won a postseason series. They know how to win. They know what it takes to get to the playoffs. And they have that experience now. And I think everybody's doing whatever they need to do to make sure that happens again. You have Maikel Garcia that's willing to move around. You have Jonathan India that's a utility player that's like, yeah, put me where you need me to be, and I'm going to do what I can to help this team be successful. So I think the mindset is let's continue to be great this season versus last season. Let's not lose 106 games again. Let's figure out how to win. They've moved past that. They view themselves as contenders, and that's how they're operating, and it's been really fun to see so far. So the main thing is obviously get those bats going, help relieve some of the pressure from the pitching staff of having to be perfect and great every time out. Continue to hover around 500. Don't go on those big losing streaks that the Royals have been accustomed to going on. They avoided doing that last season, and you see where it put them in the standings. Beat the teams that you're supposed to be, win series, win 2 out of 3, win 3 out of 4. If you're going into a 4-game series, split it at the very least. I think they've got their mindset and their game plan figured out, and it's exciting to see. So over the next 7 days, the Royals are going to be on the road. They're playing the Yankees for 3, and then we'll head into Detroit and play them 4 times over the weekend. The Yankees series being a rematch of the 2024 ALDS. Obviously, big 3 games. And then going into Detroit, playing a division foe. Detroit's actually leading the American League Central right now. They're 9-6 at the time of this recording. Like I said, the Royals are 8-8, so they are right there. But anytime you get a chance to go head-to-head against someone in your division, it's a big series, so I will be looking forward to that one. But let's jump around. I haven't done much league news. Let's jump around and see what's going on around the league. Earlier today, Aaron Judge was named captain of Team USA for the World Baseball Classic that is going to be next season. If you're not sure what that is, the World Baseball Classic is basically Major League Baseball's version of the World Cup. The last time it happened was in 2023. Shohei Ohtani and Japan beat USA in the finals. Shohei Ohtani struck out Mike Trout to end that. Kind of fitting, honestly. But they just did a lot of the qualifying during spring training this year. And again, that'll be next year during spring training. See if Japan can go win back-to-back or if USA can get back to the top and win themselves. We'll learn more what those rosters look like throughout the year. But what we do know is Aaron Judge is team captain for USA. And Mark DeRosa will be the manager of Team USA. Again, he was the manager during the last WBC. So last week, the Toronto Blue Jays, this has been a saga going on for over a year at this point, but the Toronto Blue Jays and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. agreed to a 14-year, $500 million contract extension. And this is one of the biggest contracts in history, definitely one of the biggest in Blue Jays history. And this one's interesting to me because clearly these massive contracts are not going away. Juan Soto with the 15 for $765, Shohei Ohtani's $700 million deal. You look at like Bobby Witt Jr.'s deal of around $300 million, looks really good for the Royals right now. I am all about the players getting their money. Obviously, that's how baseball is set up. So this is going to continue until something changes in how the league is set up financially and economically. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is interesting. I honestly think signing any player for a ridiculous amount of money into their 40s or into their late 30s is risky because there's been a lot of data to show you that it's really not all that great of an idea, especially in the back half of the deal. You have the Albert Pujols, Robinson Cano, A-Rod, Miguel Cabrera. There's Chris Davis. There's so many that you can look into and go, well, it was fun for a little bit, but that fun didn't last very long. A lot of them end up getting released anyway, because in Major League Baseball, these contracts are guaranteed, and a player is going to be crazy to walk away from a ridiculous amount of money, so they force the team's hand. Happened with Pujols. Left or got released by the Yankees, went to the Dodgers for a little bit, and then went back home to St. Louis and ended up getting that 700th home run. So that was cool that he got to do that back in St. Louis. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is 25. He'll be 40 when this deal is up. He's going to be making $40 million, and then that'll just drastically go down. But at the very least, he's going to be making $30 million for the years. But he's a first baseman, and traditionally first basemen end up being designated hitters at some point in their career. So my only worry is, number one, are the Blue Jays now tied up in Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and they're not going to be able to compete in free agency and other places. The Blue Jays have a little bit of a questionable spot right now. I think their manager might be a little bit on the hot seat. They've underperformed the last couple of years. There's no guarantee that they're going to make the playoffs this year. But are the Blue Jays going to be spending a ridiculous amount of money on a full-time DH 6 years from now, and you're paying a DH $35 million a year? If Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is productive and just putting out all world numbers, then you probably aren't going to be too upset about it if you're the Blue Jays. But if you have somebody that can no longer play defense and then doesn't really have it at the plate anymore, you're stuck for multiple years paying somebody $30+ million a year. So again, I am all for the players getting their money. That's how it's set up. And that's what owners and teams want to do, is do these super long-term deals. I think teams should go for shorter deals and get the most out of a player in a small amount of time versus regretting their decision 8 years into a 15-year deal. Now, one final thing that came up over the weekend, and I don't have a ton to say about it other than I just want to acknowledge it. But Jon Heyman, longtime baseball writer, tweeted a photo of a list of 103 players. It just says subject the list, and then it's a bunch of players listed 1 through 103. Nomar Garciaparra, Manny Ramirez, Johnny Damon, Trot Nixon, David Ortiz. Lots of names that you'd recognize, and they're from kind of the 90s and 2000s. Jon Heyman posted this and almost immediately deleted it. So I don't know what it was or what he was trying to do. A lot of the players on this list tested positive for PED. Some of them I'm not sure about, but you can go check it out yourself. Just look up Jon Heyman, the list, and you'll see it right there. Not going to get too deep into it because I don't know really. There's not a lot of context to it. It was posted and almost immediately deleted. So going to leave it alone for now and see if it happens to come back up. That's all I have in today's edition of This is Baseball. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you on Thursday.